Welcome to the RETSY Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Morrison. Today, Chris and I sit down with RETSY founding partner, Julie Rohr. Julie talks about the most important thing an agent can do, which is answer their phone and solve problems. Let's get into it.
I'm as guilty of this as the next person because I tend to be a talker, that I've had to teach myself sometimes when you've got a client that's a little anxious about the purchase price they might accept or credits they might have to give to a buyer based on inspections. I have found over the years that it's really effective, at least for me, to just sit back and let them talk. Let them talk and explain every worry and concern they're having about this. And if I give them credit on this, but then, you just have to let them talk it out.
Welcome to the RETSY Podcast. Today we're sitting down with RETSY founding partner, Julie Rohr. Julie, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you making the time.
Absolutely.
Well, we always like to ask everybody, what did you do before real estate?
Well, most recently, before getting into real estate, I lived in Minnesota, and I had a really interesting career. I was head of a private family foundation that supported largely legal education and higher education for aspiring attorneys. And it was a fascinating 10-year gig.
Very cool.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of what I did in that, I like to think, helped me prepare for luxury real estate sales.
Yeah, I could see how that would be helpful. So with the attorneys, they were going into law school or coming out?
Both.
Okay.
The gentleman who had established, it was a private family foundation, had a real love for the Supreme Court and the law. He had a very big career with a legal publishing house. So I got to not only meet but spend time with a number of Supreme Court justices.
Very cool.
And at dinners, like 2-on-2 dinners, and I think you've got to marshal up a lot of poise for something like that. At least I felt I did. This is like really big moments, and traveling privately with a couple of the justices at that time. They're real people, and
you probably have some killer attorney jokes.
Well, I just have killer jokes. They don't have to be about attorneys. But the point really being that being around people of that level of success, I learned over time that, they're just people as well. And like most people, if you treat them fairly and with respect and listen, that you'll do just fine.
Yeah.
They probably demand a higher level of service, I'm guessing.
Well, sure. I mean, there's a reverence that these people kind of command. And I think you need to be a little chameleon-like and adjust your personality and the way you comport yourself to a little more formal self in those situations. And it was a really wonderful experience. I mean, it was being in a position of giving money away, if you will. Mm-hmm. So you have to listen to a lot of needy stories and wants and needs, and then be able to make decisions based on that. And some of those decisions, just like decisions anyone makes in business, can be difficult. But they were great. It was 10 years of incredible growth, and then I moved to Arizona.
So what brought you out to Arizona?
A man.
Oh.
A man named Dan.
A man named Dan. Actually, we met in Minneapolis, got married there, and he had a second home in North Scottsdale. So it was one of those things where, hey, this is nice. I just had to show up with a toothbrush and start playing golf at Estancia, which was a really nice gig.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You like talked me into it.
I know. It was great. I mean, I've loved golf for many, many years, so that was wonderful. And how I got started in real estate was basically, twofold. The Great Recession was hitting, and a lot of people woke up and portfolios were slashed. And my husband and I kind of looked at each other and said, well, I think one of us at least is going to need to go back to work. And he said, you're younger. And I said, yes, I am. So that coupled with, for me, coming from Minnesota, where there was a culture, at least that I grew up in and experienced as an adult living there, that people really meant what they said, and they did what they said they were going to do. You always have exceptions to that in any town or city, but that was how I was raised. My father was a builder there, and his word was his bond. That was expected of us. And I just found through some personal experiences of looking at real estate when I was here with my husband that I felt like that was not so prevalent in this market. Yeah. So when, the decision to go back to work was in front of me, I thought, this is something I can do and hopefully make it a better practice in another market. So
well, I would say mission accomplished.
Real estate, I've discovered early on, it liked me and I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a good summary.
We've gotten to know each other really well. I mean, I think before that, though, I don't even know if we'd had done a transaction together and everything. But I'd done a lot of transactions with Libby, your business partner. ROCO is Julie Rohr and Libby Cohen, Row & Co.
We're really clever on that. But that I have to address that because we were, I guess I'm getting a little far ahead here, but just the name ROCO. Libby and I came together when we were both at Walt Danley. And you're right, you and I never did a deal. Most of my deals when I first started were more North Scottsdale. That's where I was living. I was a golfer. I was in a great affluent golf community, and I'll get more into that later. But then my husband and I moved to Paradise Valley, and I was looking for a mentor, a luxury home mentor. And I was with another brokerage, and Walt Danley called me, and we talked, and then he called me again, and we talked again, and I decided that he would be the perfect mentor because he was Mr. Luxury Home Real Estate at that time.
Walt Danley in his prime was like it.
Yeah.
He set the wake for luxury in the industry. He did such a great job and did deals with Walt, but most of the time it was like first phone call with Walt and then I was dealing with somebody else.
For sure.
But that said, it's yeah. But and that's essentially, how we met was through Libby and those transactions and stuff. And you guys just carried yourself so well in the market, had such a great reputation. I remember that dinner, or that lunch we had at the Sanctuary, right?
Oh, yeah.
When it was I think you were kicking the tires on RETSY. We were still really new.
Yes, you were really new. And that for us, first of all, I went to the Walt Danley Brokerage, but I went there as an independent agent. And there was a kind of a coterie of agents that worked 50-50 with Walt, but he was intending to change that model. So I said, okay, well, you'll be my mentor, but I'm working independently. And I got to know Libby, and we clicked really well on a number of levels. And, I started kind of putting a bug in her ear. I'd say, why are you doing this 50-50 stuff? You're bringing in these clients, you're doing this, and it's, kind of through that, she started thinking about being an independent agent. And then when she did decide to do that, that's when our partnership started. But the Row and the Co., that's something I wanted to say something about because we tried all these, stupid, crazy names. And, And we'd think, but then we'd say, no, we don't want that. No. And I would call her and I'd say, because we were starting to do deals together, even though we didn't have a partnership name or even a formal partnership agreement. And I'd say, hey, Co, it's Ro. You fast. I don't want to say, hey, and she'd call me. She'd say, Ro, Co here. So it just started blending in, and we thought, it's stuck. Why fight it?
Yeah.
So that's how it got that. But I guess people like it.
Yeah.
So
you guys complement each other really well, the way you work and everything with your team. And you guys have built a really successful team.
I thank you. And I want to say it was all hard work, but it wasn't all hard work. Some of it was sort of, I guess it came together somewhat naturally, and now here we are with 8 or so agents under us, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah. And partnerships are difficult. You've got to be able to be real open and honest, and frankly, I think sometimes partnerships with women are a little more difficult than with men. That's my personal opinion. But I think men will be more direct and tell other men what they're, thinking or feeling, and women don't want to hurt people's feelings. But we have found a place where I think it's good. I think it's good for both of us, and enjoying it.
So take me back to, we had that dinner at the sanctuary. I mean, I remember leaving that being like, they're amazing agents. We extended the offer to join RETSY, and I'm like, I don't know that they'll ever leave Walt. That's kind of like, I mean, he's set such a great name in that industry. What caused the change? What made the decision? I mean, that was huge for you guys, and we realized that too.
It was. But other than being very impressed with you when we met, no, I mean, I very, very sincerely, we had spoken with and met with Walt because we were the 2 top producing agents at his brokerage. Now, Libby, again, had gravitated and was independent. So then we sat down with him, and we were both at points where we're the breadwinners in our family. Our husbands are older. We love what we do, but what's the long range plan here? And I had suggested, we really need to be partners in something. And we had heard, a little bit about RETSY, and you guys were in the infant stages. I mean, but we liked what we were hearing, and then sitting down with you, and you're so earnest and passionate at the same time about what your visions were for this brokerage. You certainly had brought together in the early stages some amazing, great agents that, this business, I mean, it's competitive, and it's certainly extremely competitive in our state, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many agents, and there's a lot of good agents. But you had brought together some partners who genuinely care about supporting their peers in addition to supporting their own business. And that doesn't always happen in this industry. There's a lot of, I don't want to call it nefarious, but, it's a little bit of a cutthroat industry.
Yeah.
And that was very refreshing to see.
Well, and it's just like in with bringing the partners together, I mean, one thing I'd learned from experience is, when you have partners in a company, they want to help each other. They want each other to succeed. Mm-hmm. Usually the people that are selfish with their time, that lock their door in their office when they leave, that are not open to sharing, it's not really a fit for our culture. Mm-hmm. And, every brokerage out there has like that one big hitter, or maybe they have 2 or 3 big hitters, but none of them have like 30 like RETSY. It's just like, and in doing so, we build that culture from the very beginning of like, we share, we help. And I mean, I get calls from agents that are like, oh, I called Julie and she gave me advice in this. Or like they'll call me and say, hey, I'm trying to bring on a new team member, but like, I wonder how you did it. I'm like, I did it this way, but maybe you should talk to Libby and Julie about this member that they brought on. Mm-hmm. And then I'll get a call back like, they're wonderful. And like, I mean, I use this example of like a newer agent that came to me within RETSY on a team, but, was just trying to get more advice in a luxury area of space. And I didn't realize she was going to shoot for the top, and called Lisa Westcott. And Lisa Westcott took her out to lunch and and had a great lunch with her. And I got texts from both of them just saying, like, there's no brokerage that's ever built a culture like this. And it's not one person, it's all the partners in RETSY in doing so. That's why it's just like, not only was I shocked when you guys are like, yes, we're on board, but like also like I knew you guys would thrive with us. I mean, you guys were doing everything right, doing all the manual work. You didn't have any of the advertising behind you, a lot of the tools that help give you more exposure and put you top of mind. I knew that there was going to be success there.
Right.
And I mean, and look at how you guys rank now.
Well, and I likened it at the time to in a law firm, and maybe that came to my mind because of my past career, but in many law firms, the aspiration is to become partner, right? And the Walt Danley structure, and this is not knocking them whatsoever, just wasn't built that way.
Yeah.
And it was never going to be that way. And so as realtors, we were looking for that partnership that also really fuels that camaraderie. We are all partners together. And you, I think as really our leader, I think most of us regard you as our main founding leader. It's only because you foster that it comes to the rest of the partners. And, you might say, call Julie Rohr. She had, as you were just referencing, and I might, get a call from that agent. And then, I might say, hey, you know what? This guy over here has done a deal in that area. Call him on that one. I can help you with this one. And it's like a family. I mean, It sounds corny as can be, and it's not just you. I mean, I've said as long as I've been in this industry, which actually is only 14 years, but
only 14.
it dog years, I feel like, right? But I've said that we're only as good as the broker that supports us.
True.
There is nobody more important in your brokerage than the broker. And I know, Matthew, we say this to you, but it really comes from my soul. I mean, I can't imagine even God creating a better person to be in the role that you're in. Your personality, your knowledge, your willingness to answer the phone. We know that you have our backs, and so I truly feel, they say if you love your job, you're not really working, and I don't really work. I mean, I work hard, but I don't really work because it's what I love.
Yeah. And I'll talk to other brokers at other companies that are just like, I love dealing with Matthew. He just comes to the table with the problem and some solutions, and we just work through things, you know? Because sometimes you have agents, they'll just butt heads in a transaction. It's here that you want to represent your client in the best of abilities, and you feel like if your client's been taken advantage of it, you stand up to it. And sometimes it's left with the brokers to resolve it, get the clients on the phone. But I've been in every situation where Matthew's diffusing it himself, or Matthew brings one of our attorneys on the line and diffuses it for them. And, it builds trust in the brokerage. But, I have clients and friends that are just like, you guys have the best structure for a deal. I trust you with these $20 million, $30 million deals. Because I just don't feel like anybody else has what you guys have in that support, knowing that, we're not going to be guessing on anything. We're going to call an attorney and make sure we get that blessing, somebody that will back it up in court if the deal does go sideways, or getting a sign off on something. Or I think we had something like last week where I'm just like, let's get an attorney blessing on this.
Right.
So.
Right.
But that is a huge part. And INSO, I mean, you've been invited to a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't think I have ever waited 24 hours for an answer from Matthew, whether it was a text answer, a phone call, and he, God bless you. I mean, let's just say what it is. You're a father of 3 young boys, but I don't know, you must be the greatest taskmaster in the world for how you balance it all. And it isn't just, we're sitting here talking about kind of the serious stuff of the industry that we're in, but we as a brokerage balance all of that hard, blood, sweat, and tears of what we do daily with this other side that's wonderful, playful humor.
Yeah.
I mean, right? And that is important. I mean, the way it's got, it's a culture that I have to say, until joining RETSY, was never, something that I lived and witnessed. So it's rare what we have. Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying all that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But I couldn't
all
agree
deserved.
with you more about just the culture here because it is fun. Like it doesn't, it doesn't feel like work most of the time.
Right.
Because it's.
I just have to say this: if you win fantasy football this year, I will have to have some words with you, though.
Well,
we have a fantasy football league.
I think I know what I'm doing now. I think I know what I'm doing.
We joke around, but it's like, you have TV shows that come into town and people feel like real estate brokerages are run like how they see it on TV. And there's just so much drama. And the reality is when they call and they're asking about RETSY, I'm like, you're just wasting your time. Like, we're a bunch of professionals and we're trained to avoid this type of drama. Like, you'll never get that out of us.
Right.
So if you're looking for TV shows, I can give you a couple other brokerages that you may want to call. But that said, it's like we have such a good culture and a system of professionals that are, like at the tops of their careers and kicking ass. And, we're proud of it. So.
I hate watching those shows. People will ask me if I do, and I'm like, no, I really don't. And I'm reminded of when you and I share a love of Montana, and I was talking to an agent up there. This was a number of months ago. But anybody who's watched Yellowstone and the series around that, a lot of the filming took place in the Bitterroot Valley. And I was asking an agent, how did you feel about all of that? And she was commenting. And I said, well, did you watch the show? And she said, well, she's a rancher with her husband. And, real estate is another job she does. But she said, we're ranchers. She said, we watched one episode, and when the calf was born and the calf just got up and started running around, I knew this was all, BS. So no. And I sort of feel that way about watching those real estate shows.
I've seen maybe 2 of them.
Yeah.
I remember I got a text from one of the TV show personalities, and I went up to Kelly. I'm like, this name sounds really familiar. Like, is this the host of American Idol? And she's like, no. Like, it's like Selling New York or something.
Right.
Like, I couldn't even tell the difference.
No.
But that's it's just like what they see on TV is not real life in real estate. And you want a professional that's not going to bring the drama. When they do bring the drama, it just puts stress on the client's life.
Right. Right. And like what we were talking about yesterday when you guys came over to the Broker Open. I mean, part of what I feel is important in my career is helping educate younger agents. And, if I can give back in that way, not that I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I do always say to younger agents, and some, frankly, that are older that still can't seem to get the hint, we are in the business of solving problems, period, full stop.
Yep.
That is what we do. I mean, we do a lot of other things, yes. But, I have no tolerance for if you are in a transaction with an opposing agent, so to speak, and you're trying to negotiate things. I can't tell you how many times I've been, well, what are we going to do? Well, this is going to go south. What are we going to do? And I'll just say, it's our job to solve the problem, not to point out the problem, not to throw our hands up. And that's everything from negotiations to the last minute walkthroughs and something happened and some big, piece of furniture that the buyer didn't want was left there. And the best thing you could say to the client is leave it with me.
Yeah.
Just leave it with me. And that's what you have to be able to do in this industry.
100%.
Solving problems is why we get paid what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive in
on that topic.
Yeah.
Like, can you share like a transaction or a deal that you had to like think outside the box to solve the problem?
Well, as a matter of fact, I think I can. It's a recent one. Again, there's an issue. How am I going to resolve this issue? I have a listing that this couple came and looked at, and there's a story behind why they came to look at it, but for these purposes, I'll just present it that way. And they loved the property. Obviously, I'm representing the seller, and I would love to get them to write an offer on it. And they had a problem. They were under contract to close on another property that was being built and finished, and they were obligated per the contract to close on that, but they didn't want the property. So what I proposed was, if you'll pay all the marketing costs that we have for getting this other property on the market, and I'm being a little vague just because I want to protect a little bit of privacy here.
Sure.
I'll do this at a very reduced price to me or to my brokerage. Hope you were okay with that, so that we can get that off your asset sheet, and then you can buy this one. Now, what was really interesting about it is they were okay with that, but he had a couple caveats that he put in there. It has to close by this date, and I have to net at least this number. So
that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure.
He sort of snuck that in toward the end, but I guess I was, feeling roll the dice. Why not? But the seller of the other property that I wanted these people to buy has become very dear to me. I think when this whole transaction is done, we will be friends for a very long time. So I wanted to even more advocate for her. We actually got that property sold, the contingent property, within the appointed amount of time. We actually set a new record for price per square foot on a condominium residence in the state of Arizona. And
congrats on that.
Thanks.
Are our PR people working on a story on that one? Yeah.
They did, right?
I think they did.
Yeah,
Did
I'm
they get it
pretty sure
published?
they did.
Yeah. Yes. And there was some other stuff going on within that community, right? Which we don't need to get into that either. But now we're on track to close on my listing that they want to buy in about a month from now.
Does your seller fully appreciate everything that you did?
Actually, that's a really nice question to ask because I have a very good answer on that. Yes, she has been very grateful, but one of the things that, in addition to talking about being problem solvers, and I'm as guilty of this as the next person because I tend to be a talker, that I've had to teach myself sometimes when you've got a client that's a little anxious about the purchase price they might accept or credits they might have to give to a buyer based on inspections. I have found over the years that it's really effective, at least for me, to just sit back and let them talk. Let them talk and explain every worry and concern they're having about this. And if I give them credit on this, but then, you just have to let them talk it out. So in that instance, this seller, it's one of the nicest phone calls I've ever received, to be truthful. She was on the phone with me and going through all these anxiety things about this transaction. And it was complex because there were these contingencies and so forth.
Yeah.
And then, but if I give them a credit on this, and I listened and I said, well, why don't you take some time and think about it? We don't need to decide this minute, and then let's regroup and maybe talk tomorrow. Suggested that. She called me the next day. Now, this is a smart, wonderful human being. And she said, Julie. I said, yes, what's going on? She said, well, I have a question for you. Did you ever do any training in negotiations or, do do you have a psychology degree, advanced psychology? I said, well, I have a degree, but it's not in psychology. She said, you were so smart to just let me put all of this out to you and then say, let's just pause and digest this. She said, you've got to have some advanced degree in this. And I said, no, I really don't. I don't, Margaret, but I think there's a compliment there, and I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that is a lot of what we do in real estate is you're kind of a quasi-therapist sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you have to take a step back and kind of put yourself in your client's shoes. And I remember a deal we had. You remember that during the, Silicon Valley Bank went down and Republic was going down. And I had a client with money in one of them. And it was a really complex transaction with both complex clients on both sides. And, we were both professionals in that transaction.
Right.
And I gave you the heads up. I'm like, hey, he's freaking out. And he should be. Banks are shutting down. Things are happening. And, so I left it, I told him, I'm like, hey, I want you to take tonight and I want you to think about it. Think about yourself in that house, how happy you'll be in that house. And, take the night and call me in the morning, see how you feel. And if you still feel like you want to back in that time frame, you're allowed to back out, know. And, and I was informative to you guys, informative to him and this and that. Ironically, he did back out. He still regrets it to this day, though. I can tell you, because that house went up $8 million in the last 3 years or 2 years.
Right.
But that said, it's just but you have to let them make that decisions. And I know he respects me because I told him, I think you should move forward with the deal. I think you should sleep on it. And I think you should kind of picture yourself 2 years from now after all this chaos settles down. Are you going to be happy there?
Right.
And, he still remembers that conversation, so do I. But you guys are also very professional on that, I think you guys turned around and sold it for more anyways, so.
That's the home we sold at least 3 times.
Yeah, those are the fun
3
ones.
different transactions.
Yeah. People just look at our commissions and they don't realize how many times you have to sell the house to make that commission. But
right. Yeah.
But I just remember every step of that transaction, and it was a difficult one. But we work at the same brokerage. We're partners in the same brokerage. We both represented our clients properly. And, ultimately the deal didn't close, but at the end of the day, it was the best thing for both clients.
Yeah.
So, but in doing so, I think you put on the psychologist hat, the advisor hat, the friend hat, the common sense hat.
Right.
I joke around I have degrees in nothing, but I have a PhD in common sense and figuring stuff out. And you have to just do that. So. Yeah.
And I think, you also have to be able to play tough.
Yeah.
From time to time. I mean, I've had experiences where I actually told a client on the phone, I am done with you.
Yeah.
I really said that. And the next day I got flowers. It's
an emotional time. I don't care. I equate it to I have friends that are commercial real estate agents, right? Very professional. What are you doing calling me on a Saturday? I don't answer the phone on a Saturday and then 48 hours to respond on a commercial deal.
Yeah.
I joking but not joking, I called on a building. I was looking at for RETSY. That was 4 days ago. I've called twice and sent an email, no response from this agent.
Right.
What was the company? I'm going to say it on this podcast. You guys are horrible at calling people back.
Really?
Horrible. And I'm an actual person looking to lease one of your buildings.
Right.
But you take these professionals, right? They only do business 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They do this, and then it's just but when it comes to their own personal house, it's emotional. They call you nonstop. They make irrational decisions. You have to talk through it. And I see people in this commercial industry that are just true professionals that just emotionally lose it on their home transaction, or they're offended because somebody asked for them to fix a leaky bidet.
I know.
It's just they take it so personally, and then they require consultation, conversations, this and that.
Right.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But that said, it's I guess I'm venting a little bit because I just remember that person still hasn't called me back after 3 days.
Did you hear that?
We're going to move RETSY into commercial and absolutely crush it by just answering our phones and calling people back.
Well, that was the one thing that was Walt Danley's absolute bottom line. He said the easiest thing to do, and nobody seems to do it, is answer your phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Answer your phone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's really simple. Respond to people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's the rule on that? Can I call the owner of the building and be like, hey, I tried your agent 3 times and there's no response? Do they have a broker there that you can call?
Yeah.
Like, you could probably get farther than I can.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember
Like, it's really hard to sell a building or lease a building if you won't call people back.
Yeah.
It's even worse in Flagstaff. Like, let me tell you.
Well,
Did you tell him you were an agent on the phone?
No, I just said, my name is Chris Morrison. I'm interested in this building at this location. This is my 3rd message. Can you please call me back?
really? Ooh. Yeah, I'd call the broker of record.
So
I should have just said, I'm Chris Morrison. I won the Powerball yesterday, and I want to overpay for your building, and then maybe I can get a
Hey,
call
did
back.
somebody win that last night?
no,
it's still up there.
No, I
Okay,
think
good.
it's like 1
Because I
point.
forgot
But
to
like,
buy
this
yesterday.
is what people don't realize. Like, when they're interviewing agents, like, oh, well, this agent may be the number 1 agent in my neighborhood. I'm like, yeah, but try to get her on the phone. Like, try to get a call back. Try to set up a showing.
Right.
Right. Like, our agents call people back. I
Right.
mean, the successful ones do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I mean, really, we can't all physically answer our phone all the time. But, you know, that's why there are, but you know, there are all these jokes and memes and cartoons and things that we see all over social media that depict a day in the life of a realtor.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it is. I mean, we are, you know, and if you're not doing that, and if your family doesn't understand that, you're not going to succeed.
No.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with human beings, as you talk about. Emotions. I love that piano. How can they not want my piano? You know, horse trading. I mean, we're not used furniture salespeople, but we get in that position.
Yeah.
And the AI will never take over our jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too much emotion. It's not like, you know, I guess some people do get emotional about cars, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, we look back and I compare. I have a lot of friends in commercial who are actually really good agents and call people back. And I've been on drives like on trips or fishing trips, and I'll listen to them answer a phone on the river and this and that. And you wonder, it's like, well, this is why you're crushing it in your industry.
Right.
Because you
Yeah.
just answer the phone, you respond, you give good responses.
Right.
You're
Right.
smiling because you know who I'm talking about. And they're good on the phone and they give a shit about their clients. And they tell them real
isn't that
advice.
just the truth,
like,
though,
yeah.
giving a shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
because not answering a phone,
Yeah.
not replying to an email, not,
Yeah.
you know, I think you did that to me once, by the way, but that's
I
okay.
didn't reply to an email.
No,
That
it
totally
was-
sounds like me.
It was, I'll get right back to you. It was a phone call. That's right. I can bust him. He said,
I always hit the, like, I'm in the middle of something, I'll call you back in 15 minutes. And then it's like
It's
2 hours later.
No, this was like 3 days later.
Okay.
That's okay. I know you love me.
Well,
Yeah. What else?
Well, on that topic of the commercial brokers and stuff, it just reminded me I had a very similar experience of I forget how many years ago this was. I was looking at a commercial lot out by where I live, and I called that commercial broker like 5 or 6 times. I sent an email. I sent a few emails. I left several messages, and I was complaining to one of our friends in commercial. And I was like, I just don't get it. I'm really interested in this. Like, I told him I'm an agent. He's like, that's the problem. You're a house mouse. And I was like, oh, you guys have a derogatory term for the guys that do residential? He's like, oh, yeah. You're a house mouse. I was
Oh,
like,
I'd never heard that.
yeah.
You know,
who
maybe
I'm
it's a good
talking
idea.
about.
Maybe I just call Barry and be like, hey, call this agent.
That's probably what you need to do.
And I'll bet him a steak dinner that he can't get him on the phone within 48 hours.
You might lose a steak dinner.
I may not.
You might. So, I just thought I'd share that with you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
House mouse. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, what do we
Good to
call
know.
them?
I've been working on it since
Building
then.
ding-dongs? No,
yeah.
building ding-dings?
Any commercial realtor that calls me, I will call you back, I promise.
Yep. Well, I just thought I'd share that with you guys because I thought it was really funny.
I think we do need a name for the commercial people.
I've been working
House
on it.
mouse, building mouse.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't come up with anything good, but I hadn't thought about it since ChatGPT came out, so I'll work on it. I'll get back to you
I
guys.
think we need to
Yeah.
have a response for that.
I'll work on it and I'll get back to you guys.
I'm like thinking, if I'm listening to this episode and I want to ask Julie Rohr something, what do I want to ask her?
No,
You want to
please.
talk about how do you hire a new team member? How do you train them? What do you expect out of them? Like, you brought on Colin, right? Like, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Colin's awesome.
He is.
He was newer.
Very new. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's closing
been
transactions.
Amazing. He's been
working.
amazing.
Comes to everything. How did you instill that in him? How did you train that team member? And what are the expectations?
Right. Well, and I've mentioned some of those. You know, my musts. I mean, you must show up. You must answer your phone. You must be of a mind to problem solve. I cannot stand it, frankly, in life, when people are hand-wringing, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? In fact, I've gotten to the point now in my business where I will actually say in a listing appointment, after we've gone through all the formalities and the different things and what we do and how we present things to the market and all the great tools that RETSY offers, I will say there are 2 things you need to know about me. A, I am not the most patient person in the world, and B, I hate losing. So I think and I really do hate losing. I mean, I'm not a poor sport, but you know, this to me is always the challenge. Let's get this seller where they want to be in their life, or let's get this buyer where they want to be. They have a goal. Our job is to help them reach that goal. So those are the things I try to.
Do you make them sit open houses every week? Do you?
You know what? I think it depends on the agent. I mean, I think everybody's an individual, and everyone's going to have different skill sets and strengths, and maybe things that they're just not as naturally comfortable doing. Cullen is an open house superstar.
I would imagine you put him in front of people. Like, he is a people person.
He is a people person. In fact, I mean, he was helping me with an open house. It was a broker open house, part of Luxury Home Tour, I believe. And, you know, there were people coming in, and he'd get into these conversations. And I had asked him to get something off to you. My laptop was off in a corner. And he loves people so much, and he's so natural at it, that I finally had to go and take him away from these people. And I said, eyes over on this laptop and get this job done, please. And I wasn't angry with him. I found it, I mean, it's just, you know, so it depends on the agent that we bring on. And I think you try to support them in their weaknesses and make them more comfortable. We made Cullen do this video for the Ritz-Carlton project.
That was a great video.
And he like
I saw that one.
He was just, you know, and I'm like, Cullen, is going to be great. Just be yourself, be yourself, be yourself.
Oh, yeah. It turned out great.
It did.
That was awesome.
But, you know, he's his own worst critic. But he's a lovely young man, and he's very bright, and he will go very far, you know, if he sticks with it. So he doesn't mind cold calling. I hated cold calling.
I've heard him in the office.
I hate it.
Yeah. Nobody likes that. But
no, but he's made progress there.
Yeah.
So it depends.
He like startled
on the
me one
agents.
day. Like, he was still in the office when I was leaving at like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and like I didn't realize anyone else was still in the office. And like he came out of the bathroom. I was like, whoa! I didn't realize.
How did you get in here?
I know. Yeah. You know,
he's a hard worker. So, I mean, but, you know, when you're looking for team members, I remember when we first sat down with him.
Yeah.
You're like, he's incredibly smart, business savvy, wants to get in real estate, seems passionate about it. And I know we had a conversation, like, is he dedicated to it? Like,
right.
We hate as teams to bring on a team member, have them close one deal, and they're off on their own, or think they're off on their own.
Right.
I mean, like, I'm 25 years into real estate. If I close a transaction where I feel like I didn't learn something on it, I'm almost concerned that I made a mistake.
Isn't that
it's
the
just
truth?
Like, you have to diffuse a situation or a problem or this and that. Like, every single transaction brings a new challenge. And that's what I love about this industry.
Exactly.
Being newer in real estate, like, you get a lot more of them. They surprise you more often. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Where do you see the Arizona market in the next 5 years?
Well, having just spent the summer in Montana, it's so interesting to, you know, almost remove yourself physically from the state and then watch what's happening in your state, because you get a different perspective. I cannot believe the amount of growth that this state is experiencing. And I would say it's responsible growth. You know,
Yeah.
we have the infrastructure, we have the roads, we have great water planning people. You know, I mean, syndications love headlines and scary headlines.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact is all these semiconductor companies coming in here, that they run on water. You know, it's
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
We have water. And I think it's just a great cross-section of humans that come and settle here. I see Arizona I guess I hope that the growth continues on a responsible level.
Yeah.
You know, because if you grow too fast, then you do get some of those inherent problems with infrastructure not keeping up. But I just don't see it going anywhere but up, and up. A lot of people that move here don't realize that, you know, they'll say, oh, I don't want to be there in the summer. And I don't want to be here in the summer. I get it. But, you know, Flagstaff is like being in another country.
Yeah.
From a meteorological standpoint, and still being in the same state and being 2 hours away from anything that you might have to get back for, right? I mean, a lot of people don't realize that there is a very nice alternative if you want to, you know, not be here.
Well, I just
July.
find that, like, I mean, you have Flagstaff, you have Lakeside, Pine Top,
All right.
Forest Lakes. I mean, if you don't want to be here during the summer, and a lot of people in our neighborhoods are not here during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come back here and there, but like there's
Right.
so many great escapes. I mean, Arizona is one of the only states that, you know, has such a booming economy. I've said this before, like we're the new Silicon Valley. I mean, the Taiwan semiconductor plants and the additions they're planning to that and everything
Right.
going on around that. And
Right.
like one of my neighbors is in charge of like a lot of stuff going on around that. It'll just blow your mind, the growth there. And then, it's 115 and dry in the summer for a few
Right.
months.
Right.
And you can be in Flagstaff in 2.5 hours or 2 hours, depending on how fast you drive. And even from some of those areas up there, like say Anthem or Tremonto, that northern area, I mean, you're in Flagstaff in 2 hours. So.
Right.
And there's things to do up there.
Right.
Like golf in 70-degree weather.
Yeah.
Or go fishing.
And there's Montana.
Yeah. Or you're in a flight to, how long does it take to get to
2
Missoula?
hours. 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But and I just think a lot of people don't realize that. They think of Arizona as this hot, you know, it's certainly an arid state, but hot in the summer, which it is down here. But when I've told people, you know, I'm from Minnesota originally, and I've told people, oh, northern Arizona is like northern Minnesota. I mean, you've got beautiful jack pines, and, you know, it's 75 degrees, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty rare and pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So bullish on the future.
I am. Yeah.
I don't think we've had a single agent on this episode that says, no, market's going to tank.
Yeah. No.
Like, we're getting out of the penalty box here pretty soon. Interest rates will go down, and you just better hold on to your ass. Like, I feel like values are going to go up. Like, all those people sitting on the sideline.
I know.
I haven't been able to cash flow a rental property. Haven't bought one in 3 years. And now it's like all this stuff's coming across my desk where I'm like, Kel, maybe we should buy this one. What do you think of this one? It's like,
Right.
they're starting to cash flow. You know, rents have gone up enough, and prices have kind of leveled out in some areas. They're still going up, but rates dropping just makes money in the capital markets way more available.
Well, I also think it's human behavior that there's only so long you'll sit on the sidelines before you sort of adjust your thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the demand and the need and the desire has all been there. You know, we did not have. I had a good year this last year, or I guess we're still in 2025, but a lot of agents didn't. You know, and it was a tough market to sell in.
Yeah.
And I'm always the one that's going to say, look, just like a really good, you know, lender or a really good even appraiser should say, a home is worth what a willing buyer and seller can meet at.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yeah.
So, you know, and in this last year, we had lots of conversations with sellers where it was like, okay, this isn't the price, because you set a price in, October, November, maybe waited even till January, and it wasn't valid anymore in 2 months. I mean, that's the way the market was going. So I found this in Montana too, where there's a stubbornness, but that's part of the non-disclosure state. But in Arizona, smart sellers will understand if you're talking to them, and these are the tough conversations where you got to, gear up and say, okay, I wasn't lying when we established this list price. Our market is adjusting, and more inventory has come on. If we've got a bird in the hand here, and it's your decision. Again, you put it to them just like you did with that guy on that transaction we were talking about. Think about it. And they usually come back and understand that,
Here's the facts, figures, in my opinion, in my experience.
Right.
It's your decision.
But it's your decision. But also, if there are people that do investing and so forth, they will understand the opportunity lost if they don't take this offer, and they can make that money up in a relatively short amount of time from what they thought they could sell it for. Yeah. Put the money to work.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of buying stuff and forgetting you own it. Rent it. Just have it out there. Never take it off. Like nobody ever makes money selling real estate. It's like... No, you just buy it and hold it.
Do you smell those properties?
Huh?
Do you smell them out? Can you smell that?
I smell them out. That's an inside joke, everyone.
That's what you can capitalize on that. I smell a deal over here.
Yep.
Right?
They're making fun of me because I have a very, very high sense of smell.
We had a very interesting discussion before we started rolling the cameras about Chris's sense of smell.
I may amortize my new knowledge of Chris over a long period of time.
If there's mold in the house, I can smell it. If somebody put a new carpet, I can smell it. If the dog peed in the back bedroom, I can smell it. Like it's a curse. It's not a blessing.
I hope you don't think I stink.
Well, Julia, it depends on how this conversation goes.
I know. It's so great that we have you two, that you're brothers. You're very unique, but you've both been such incredible leaders in your respective roles.
Thank you.
I could not. I couldn't. Most agents will get calls, recruiting calls if you're successful from time to time. And, mostly over my history, I'd say I'm not interested, very happy where I am not interested. And then, of course, sometimes something happens. You go, well, maybe. Okay, I'd take a meeting. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. If someone's calling me now and like, hey, are you happy at RETSY? I just start laughing. I've never been happier. I would never leave. You'd have to drag me away screaming and kicking. But it's the God honest truth.
Yeah. I get those recruiting calls and I'm like, clearly you didn't do your research. Clearly you didn't get your... My favorite is like, I'm calling on behalf of No Name.
No.
On behalf of No Name. And I'm like, and what country are you in?
No.
Name a city in Arizona.
I know. Well, I will get them. They certainly sound local. I'm calling on behalf, and it's somebody's assistant. Yeah. And I'm saying, well, let me tell you something. If so-and-so really wants to talk to me...
They have my mobile number.
They can call me, not you. And with all due respect to you, you're just doing your job. I understand that. But, then you never get the call back.
Yeah.
Or my famous phrase, like, the fact that you guys need a recruiter means that you would never get me.
Right. Well, and that's what I said in a comment on the post of, our surpassing $2 billion. Yeah. So, RETSY is a brokerage of attraction, not promotion.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is what we are. And we are very selective. And we can be. Because we're very attractive, That's, and... well,
it's like we tell the agents, like, if you do an amazing job marketing the property, getting the video out, advertising in the neighborhood, sending the postcard, inviting the neighbors to the open house, selling the property, setting records, like, the neighborhood pays attention and you'll get more business.
Yeah.
You don't have to try that hard, right? Like you just do a really good job at marketing your properties and you'll get more listings, right? Same thing with the brokerage. If brokerage does a good job with the agents, like people talk. So.
Well, I think that's something that all of our agents did really well in like 21, 22, when like things were flying off the market. They still shot video. They still marketed every single listing.
Yeah. Why would you not?
Why would you not?
You have to
Why would
continue
you not?
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like right when you're your busiest, you should be doing more marketing, more open houses, all that stuff. That stops those ebbs and flows in real estate. We see that all the time with everybody in every industry, especially real estate, where it's feast or famine depending on the quarter. And if you're marketing more when you're busy, you'll never really have that slowdown period. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And, I tell younger agents that, this, or newer agents, this will not always be this difficult. I mean, real estate will always be challenging, but your goal is to create these great transactions and experiences for people so that they are referring so-and-so to you, and then they are referring so-and-so.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not a career that's for everybody, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it isn't, because there are a lot of people, frankly, in our industry that shouldn't be in real estate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair?
Fair? Yeah.
Yeah.
How many agents are there in the Valley?
55,000.
How many would qualify for RETSY?
Probably like 1,000, 1,500, give or take.
Yeah. That's saying something.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I'm totally off base there, but
Well, I know we're getting close on time. So, I mean, another thing I want to thank you for, a lot of people don't realize this, but in RETSY, we have something called the advisory board. It's 5 agents that I meet with in season, almost weekly, out of season monthly. They help make the decisions that shape RETSY, whether it's a new technology tool, a new hire, maybe an agent we have to let go. That way it's like not one person making a decision, dictating things, and just charging forward unadvised. They're an advisory board. They bring a lot of thought to the table. There's strong personalities across the table. And, I feel like you've been that buffer since you joined the advisory board of like helping make decisions, seeing things from both sides, and pushing through stuff and trying stuff. I mean, nobody likes to try anything new, right? But like my advisory board, I shove a lot of things down on the table, and like you guys look at it, and sometimes I'm completely shot down, and sometimes you're huge fans of it. But thank you so much for all your time. It's not a paid position either. Like it helps shape the company. So thank you for all your help with advisory board and everything. And it's been, since you came on the advisory board, it's been stronger. So thank you so much. So
that's very kind, and it means a lot to me. It's my pleasure, and it's who can't want to help support what has been created here? It is so rare and so fabulous. That's such an understatement. But I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
Oh, well, thank you. So after the podcast, Julie, how do people connect with you? Whatever you want to share, whether it be
phone number, email, Snapchat,
social media.
Yeah, that's one of the things too that was very attractive about RETSY, because you guys, I'm of a different generation. I try to keep up on the tech, and I think I do okay, but you are definitely leading edge. And so I knew that was something that both Libby and I needed, to be amongst a group of people that really are at the forefront in pioneering a lot of this great tech that my generation didn't grow up on. How can they reach me? Julie Rohr at gmail.com or Julie at RETSY.com. And my phone number is 602-317-5667. Call before midnight tonight. No, I'm not. Don't. Anyway.
We'll see if she answers the phone at 11:59 p.m.
I would, because I'm a night owl.
That
and that's the
I'm
other
so
thing.
glad
I forget
you
you
brought
are
that up.
that. Yeah, you are a night owl.
That video that you and Libby did, like that was almost a year ago,
Yeah.
right? Because
It was at Halloween
Yeah, it was
time.
at Halloween
Yeah,
time.
we might have to
That's one
reprise
of-
that.
That was one of my favorite videos.
Well,
That
my
was-
partner's an early bird,
Yeah.
and I'm a night owl.
Yeah,
And
and
so we are open 24 hours a day.
Yep.
That's a good balance.
You need to go check out the ROCO social media and see that video if you haven't. 'cause
What's
it
your
is-
Instagram social media handle?
At Jules2626. But it's at ROCO too. I don't even know what the rest of that is. But yeah.
We'll have Jack
link
edit it and put it on the bottom
I thought you
for
were going to
yeah.
say our
Well-
Sound of Music video.
No, the
Up at
early
our
bird night
Foothill
owl.
lot listing.
No, the early bird night owl was
Yeah,
my
that
favorite.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like-
what
I
about
love
the
that
one we did with the dancing?
That's
You
That
didn't
was
see
at
that
the
one?
Phoenician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we lost camera one.
Lost camera one. Oh, geez.
Wow.
What is it?
Well,
Well, we'll keep the camera on, Julie. So thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks, guys. My pleasure.
Somehow you overheated the camera.
Well,
I don't even
'cause
know how to explain that.
You
I'm a
want
tech
it
person.
70 degrees. It's up 2 degrees. Big deal. Deal with it.
Oh, that's right. You wanted to warm up the room, and then you overheated the equipment.
70 degrees. It's like a surgical site in here.
Well, thank you for coming in, Julie.
My
we
pleasure,
really appreciate
guys.
it.
thank you, Julie.
That wraps up this week's episode of the RETSY Podcast. Thanks for listening. Check out the show notes to connect with Julie. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a moment to leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. And please subscribe so you never miss what's next. Next week, Chris and Matt are sitting down with RETSY agent Nathan Anderson. Here's a sneak preview.
You know, we do have, like I said, we have core purposes, and one is that in the negative stigma of the building industry, and that is one of the negative stigmas. I would much rather have the right client than have the wrong client. And I hate it's a two-way street, right? So like a lot of times you mentioned that we lose out on like potential clients because we're being honest and upfront with them. I just got out of a sales meeting literally before I came to the podcast, and you know, I didn't blink an eye. I'm like, hey, this is what it's going to cost you. And my comment to them at the very beginning is the reason that we go through what we call a feasibility study is, hey, is this project feasible for you?